couple is making love near a lake. Suddenly, the guy gets up and walks towards a blue spirit and starts kissing her instead. Top 10 things not to do on a date. The spirit turns the guy into ice and sucks his soul. Then the spirit opens her creepy face and engulfs her face, leaving blood all over the place. Heh, rhyme. Somewhere in the city, we see a girl running for her life from a psycho killer. Suddenly, Leon, a Makai Knight, arrives and shines a charm which turns the girl into a crimson gale, scaring the killer away. A fight begins in which Leon summons an armor and burns the demon down. Most Power Rangers stuff. Elsewhere, we see a butler searching for Prince Alfonso. He's asking a lady if she knows Prince Alfonso's whereabouts when suddenly, a servant points out the window, where he gets a nice view of Alfonso riding away on a horse. The butler seems disappointed at the future king when suddenly, the king himself arrives and lets him go off, as he's going to meet an old friend who fought alongside him in a tragedy. Alfonso arrives at a rundown building and meets Leon. Mado rings Aruba, Leon's brother named Roberto. Alfonso wants to have fun, however Leon wants to train him. This results in a fight between them, making Roberto cry. Meanwhile, Samina, Leon and Roberto's mother, mentions how Roberto is a crybaby, getting flashbacks to my own mother. Samina wonders whether or not Roberto will be able to inherit Zoro's armor and become a Makai Knight to the magical tool Jiruba. Back at the training grounds, Leon and Alfonso talk about their journey and training to become a knight. However, as Roberto is very young, his happiness may not lie there. They return back to Samina, who hands them a letter, making them concerned. Both knights go and meet Garam, who informs them that a horror has been living in the city of Azalea for half a year. The knight assigned there has been missing, and on top of that, the knight sent later only came back as a hand in the swords. She informs them that the horror is called Dead Tower Horror of Venus, who devours men and strips off the faces of women. She also tells them that the problem is not the horror but a wizard named Mendoza, who created the forbidden mystic tool Zerkael's Ring, which has been discovered. But Mendoza is not using it to summon horror but to resurrect the dead, which goes against time and space. This could also change the past, hence it must be stopped instantly. She asks them to join some man and finish the job. Leon returns to Samina's house to find the place messed up and the mother-son duo vanished. He immediately runs out and finds a hooded character taking Roberto away. He finds Samina crying for her son and assures her he will get him back. Jiruba feels something is off and asks him to take her with him. Zaruba informs Leon that they're neither horrors nor humans. Then Leon attacks them, but the hooded characters cut off Leon's horse's legs. An intense battle begins and Leon nearly gets choked to death. Suddenly, Dario, also known as the Obsidian Makai Knight Zem, appears and saves him. Dario informs Leon that they were sent by the horror in the old temple whom he plans to defeat. Elsewhere in the forest, we see Alfonso getting approached by a Makai alchemist named Lady Emma. Together, Leon and Emma enter a barrier. Back to Leon and Dario, Leo finds out he's not the backup sent by Garam. They reach the temple and find Leon's father, Gehrman. Gehrman is actually dead, but he was rematerialized temporarily by Garam. Gehrman informs Leon that Garam is the one who kept the Zerkael's ring secretly even when the council ordered it to destroy it. She did so to use it as a last resort to use it against a powerful horror named Anima. He also tells him if the ring gets activated, only the deceased can cross the gate to stop it. But right now, Gehrman only plans to rescue Roberto. Inside the temple, they encounter a mystic tool controlled by the horror. Gehrman asks Leon for his swords, which might turn him into a horror, but in order to protect his son, he wants to take the risk. Jiruba tells Leon to give him the swords as she will inform him when Gehrman is about to turn into a horror so that he can kill him. So Leon hands over Jiruba as well as his swords. They battle the creature with their armor and end up defeating it. Just when they reach near Roberto, they find out it's a trap set by Dario and the whole temple blows up. However, Garam manages to protect them. She informs them that Dario is the missing knight assigned to Azalea and he intended to get rid of the nuisances. Elsewhere, Emma and Alfonso reach a lake, which itself is a mystic tool. They move forward to find out more about it. Just then, they see a black-robed character with Roberto in a boat. Meanwhile, Gehrman and Leon chase after Dario and asks him about Roberto. They suspect Dario is being controlled by a horror. However, Dario tells them that there is only one person he must protect, and he has not lost his honor. Back at the lake, Emma and Alfonso find out that the creatures are using Roberto as a key to activate the Zerkael ring. Hearing this, Alfonso cannot stay still and attacks the creature, but he, unfortunately, fails to retrieve Roberto. Just then, Alfonso comes face to face with Venus. In a flashback, we see Master Dario talking about Princess Sarah, who was disfigured by horror. After that, Sarah vowed to turn everything into ash and put an end to the world. She tells Dario to leave and not look at her. However, Dario stays to protect her as per his oath. He also gouged his eyes out, as Sarah ordered him not to look at her. After all that, she jumped into the lake and turned into Venus. Meanwhile, in the lake, Venus tries to suck the soul out of Alfonso. However, Emma interferes and saves him. Venus also tries to rip Emma's face off but fails as Garamond and Leon save her. Emma, however, does not believe it's truly Garamond and asks for an explanation. On the other side, Leon is fighting Venus when Dario approaches him and asks him to stop as he does not know her suffering. To this, Leon tells him to open his eyes, which is the worst thing you could say to a blind person. Hearing so, Dario stabs Leon, telling him they are the same who could not protect someone precious. Just then, Garamond stops him. Dario compares his feeling toward Sarah to Garamond's feelings toward Roberto, to save whom he would do anything. Suddenly, Emma makes Garamond retreat. Leon wakes up in a house where Emma flirts with him. Suddenly, Garamond and Alfonso enter and ask them what they were doing as Leon's face is all red. After getting a suspicious answer, Garamond teases Leon, which results in Leon throwing him out the window down the valley. Serves him right. They start to discuss strategies to rescue Roberto. Just then, they realize that Garamond is turning into a whore. Garamond, however, does not plan to back down just then. Hence, Leon vows to finish him if he completely turns into a whore. They plan to rescue Roberto before Garamond turns into a whore. On their return back to the lake, Dario apologizes to Roberto as he has to sacrifice him in order to save Sarah. The group tells Dario to give up and face the council. Suddenly, Venus attacks them from behind. They take action as per their plan, where Emma and Alfonso attack Venus and Leon and Garamond attack Dario. After an intense fight, Garamond reaches Roberto but gets stopped by Dario. While they fight, Garamond agrees to what Dario said before, that their feelings are the same. Dario asks Garamond to show him how to protect their loved ones and cuts the rope to the pod Roberto is in, which falls into the gate. Garamond runs after the pod after throwing an anchor into the ground. Leon catches the slipping anchor. However, the portal gets activated. Dario tells Leon to let go of the anchor as the ring is already activated, and they can work together to bring their loved ones back. On the other side, Alfonso brings Venus into a trap where Emma shoots her. When Alfonso is about to decapitate her, Dario injures him and takes Venus toward the lake and throws her. But as the gate is not open yet, she pulls Dario with her. Meanwhile, Garamond succeeds in catching Roberto and with Jaruba's help brings him up. While doing so, Roberto gains consciousness and asks him who he is. While returning back, Emma does not like that Garamond is not telling the truth about his identity to Roberto and decides to tell him. Just then, Garamond meets Samina and they all cry into each other's arms. Suddenly, Jaruba breaks and out comes a monster. Garamond tries to stop it but gets engulfed. Next comes Leon, who gets drowned in some water body, leaving his swords behind. Roberto picks up his sword and defends against the monster. Leon thinks back to Lara, a girl who he could not protect but who gave him the will to protect future generations. He decides he must live on to pass this feeling along. He goes back to Roberto and asks him to lend his power that he will yield someday. The strength of feeling that bonds people eternally is the source of power that the Golden Knight possess. Then Leon comes forth as the Golden Knight and defeats the horror, leaving behind Jaruba. On the other side, Garamond thanks Garm as he was able to hold his son and then he leaves. The group takes their journey home. Emma, however, separates from them. Leon promises Roberto to go fishing after they return.
Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.